Yeah, Garby. I know the towers fell down, baby, but I'm just trying to show you downtown. What? Look, Garby. All this money like a boomer, buying houses like a boomer, buying houses like a boomer. She spread her legs just like a rumor, tried to play me like a loser, so I had to call my shooter. Money growing like a tumor, had to make it out the sewer. I don't trust a single soul, I'm walking around with a Ruger. Look, yeah. The towers fell cause they flew into them, had to make it out the sewer. All this money cause I'm Hey, it's Gerbert back. So the whole economy at this point is just boomers like selling each other houses. All the wealth is in that class of people. Generally, basically, there's never been a period in history where old people hold all these positions of power, politically, economically. I've talked a lot about demographics. It's one of these things where once you see it, once you understand it, you see that it colors a lot of your life. Birth rates are kind of a corny thing now. But here's what happens when one generation of people is very large and then quickly after them, the birth rate falls below replacement, like what happens with the baby boomer generation in the West. The culture, the economy, everything kind of follows them up because they are the largest demographic. What you'll see today is that we have the situation where there's this massive voting block of all these older people, boomers, all of these positions of power, like never before in history, are occupied by elderly people. And oftentimes the desires of these older people can conflict with the wants and needs of younger people. And the first thing is that you can always expect people to vote or care about their own best interest, but it also is the unique psychology of the boomer. Not just because all the people born in this era are naturally just selfish because no reason. The psychology of someone who was born in a youthful society, in a giant demographic during a baby boom, is very different from the psychology of someone born now where they're a child in a country where the average age is in the 40s. It's just very different. You're not cared about as much. Things don't cater to you in the same way. If you'd even look at the 1900s, things like coffee shops, stores, and places around town, they would be open into midnight, early hours of the morning, all the time. Now everything closes, everything's dead, you go out at night, besides, like nightclubs. And this was because there was a younger population. Everything was open later. Now everything's closed. We work on an old clock. What I'm saying is that people, they don't consider the political, social, and economic consequences of our demographic situation. An example I bring up is the coronavirus. Now let's run with the official narrative. Let's not bring up any alternative theories here. The official narrative, it's a virus, it happens, it's a thing, it's a problem. The people who it's really dangerous for, who it's really a problem for, are the old people, are the boomers. So what happens? Everything shuts down. If you would just look at a cost-benefit analysis for a young person, what happens during the quarantine is that the future of many people's lives was completely sold and ruined. The economy pre and post 2020, pre and post COVID, is totally different. Take a look at the house prices in 2019. Take a look at them at whenever it ended, 2022, 2023. Crazy. There's no going back. But people who were already reaching retirement age, they had to be safe. The cost-benefit analysis from a young person's perspective is that, there's this thing you get a little sick, but your entire future is fucked forever. Doesn't make sense. But for them, made quite a bit of sense. They already made their money. They already had the houses, some of which doubled in value in like 3 years. It was the greatest wealth transfer in history. I don't have any vitriol for boomers, really. I don't have hate in my heart. There are good boomers, there are bad boomers. I look at people as individuals, okay? But in terms of the archetype, the generation, there's analysis to be done. And in terms of the boomers, this older group of people uniquely does not have a sense of obligation to posterity. And this is not just because boomers are dumb or evil for no reason or whatever. You can pinpoint specific reasons why this would be the case, why this group of old people does not care as much about young people, about planting trees that they will not sit under the shade of for the future. And the first is obviously the demographics. Usually, older people will not be the largest group of people. Usually there would be more young people. The second thing is that, the boomers like to act like they were the hard men that created the good times of the millennials and now. But really, it was their parents, people who got through world wars, depression, that created the period of peace, prosperity, growth, good times that the boomers grew up in. And it is because of how good things were that they do have a different mindset. I guess a privileged type of mindset where they were able to do these things, and if you're not able to do these things, they don't really get it. They can't comprehend how it's different because things just worked for them. And the third thing are the social revolutions, the changes in thought that occurred. I don't know, I guess the kind of tradition was shed, maybe when they took the psychedelics or something, it just changed their mind about, the classic thing about caring for the future generations. I don't know, something happened where they just don't care about it anymore. It was the drugs, the whatever. So now it's like we're in this situation where maybe it's a little dramatic, but it's the old people are sacrificing the young people to maintain their comfort. And there's not much we could do about it. Young people are paying for Social Security. We're never going to see that shit. Is that going to be there for me when I'm 68? No, it's not. It's going to be gone in 10 years. We're paying rent in a housing market that has shut us out. And the asset-owning class there's kind of like a separate financial class that owns everything. But there are also just a bunch of boomers, if they bought and held anything in the 70s, 80s, whatever. I'm making this video in response to coming across this. Today's housing market is so upside down that there are more senior citizens buying homes than Gen Z and millennials. High home prices and elevated mortgage rates have made it increasingly difficult for Gen Z and millennials to buy homes. The median age of first-time U.S. home buyers has significantly jumped during the past decade. Because incomes have not kept pace with housing costs, many younger Americans are locked out of home ownership. In 2024, there were more home buyers over the age of 70 than under the age of 35. I mean, come on, dude. Just forget about it. 70? Why are people running around buying houses at over 70? Just sit in a fucking chair. What's wrong with you? The share of older baby boomer homebuyers was 22%, while the share of younger millennials and Gen Zers were just 14%. Millennials and Gen Z combined do not come close to matching the older half of the baby boomer generation. 46% of homes purchased in 2024 were by those aged 60 and over. Yeah. Age distribution of home buyers. Just look at how top heavy this shit is. 28 years old in 1991, the median age of a first-time home buyer. This jumped to 38 years old in 2024. The median age of home buyers in general, not first time, is 56. 56 up from 46 in 2021, 3 years ago. Okay, so the 2021 data was probably collected some like during pre-COVID. Right in here, we're really seeing the pre and post-COVID type stuff. 10-year jump. Record high of home buyer age. 46 to 50, 56. Young people do need houses, you know. That's kind of a thing. Houses are where you live. It is kind of a good idea. It is kind of a good thing to be able to purchase a house. And even after seeing this shit, a lot of boomers still have the sheer audacity to act like nothing's going on and it's like a skill issue. It's just fucking nuts. Like the situation these people grew up in, because they're the largest generation, because of the cultural revolution that happened, it's in such a bubble. It's beyond parody. After 2020, after the demic, they're still gonna run around saying like shit's normal and you just gotta work and buy a house. It's absurd. And look, I'm not making this to complain. I'm really not. That's not the intention. Maybe it comes off that way. It's hard not to get a little into the weeds. I'm not trying to doom. I'm not trying to complain. But you have to understand the position that you're in. It's not even like, you could say the spirit behind the boomer advice isn't incorrect. You have to take responsibility for yourself. No one's going to come and save you. You know, they're not going to come and save you. They don't give a fuck. You have to take responsibility, take control of your own life, position yourself accordingly. Work hard, yeah. But it's especially like the specific things they say, comparing when they grew up to when you're growing up, and the specific advice that they give is just really dog shit and doesn't make any sense. Because it's not even remotely comparable. Every market is just terrible right now. Housing market, dating market, car market. I didn't live above my means. I drove a crappy car. Bro, the average used car now is $25,000 with 12% APR. Oh, look on Facebook Marketplace. You have to... There's not a good deal on there either. You're not even finding a good deal on Facebook Marketplace. It's like there's no, I don't even know how things are working. I don't know how shit's not burning. Like, it's not even, it goes beyond a point where it's like, oh no, you don't get it, older people, because it's harder now. It's like, how is it still functioning? Debt. I guess debt is the answer. Everybody's just going in debt. Everybody's just working off debt. I don't understand how it works when a used car is $25K with 12% APR, when rent and mortgage is sky high, when groceries cost this much. People without a it's like, I don't know how things are not I don't know how buildings aren't burning. I don't know how people aren't running around with, I don't know how this shit's not Brazil. And you could see the way boomers react to this sort of stuff, because there's like a whole genre of video now you'll find on the internet often on any social media where it's just a young person sitting in their car, like damn near having a breakdown about their economic situation. Let me see if I can find one. Okay, American describes what it's like being young in 2025. This post has over 155,000 likes.
Boomers want to know what it's like being young in 2025? Here it is. I just got off an 8-hour shift at work where I make double minimum wage in my state. I hop in my car, check my banking app. Cool, I've got $50 to last me till next week. Then I remember, oh shit, I have to run to Walmart because the wire in my bra snapped. And I look at my banking app again. Oh cool, I've got $10 now to last me till next week. I try to drive, but my car keeps misfiring. I can't afford to fix that. 30 minutes later, I'm finally heading home to my 4 roommate. $850 a month with 4 roommates. Remember back in the good old days when a man could afford to feed, raise, house his family on minimum wage? Fuck you. You guys had it so fucking easy, and then you destroyed everything behind you.
There's just tons of videos like this. Young people in their cars talking about it. Let's see if I can find some boomer comments here. Show me her DoorDash statement. Show me her Starbucks spending. Show me her prescriptions, bar tabs, cosmetics, monthly streaming subscriptions. This is why young people are broke. Get Randy. Let's see this motherfucker. Rebel American, you know he's pushing 80. They always bring shit up like this. DoorDash, Starbucks, monthly subscriptions. And it's like, sure, you shouldn't be ordering DoorDash if you don't have money. Is she? I don't know. That's a bold assumption. But it's like you're going to blame this shit on a $10, $15 a month Netflix subscription when the purchasing power of the dollar since 1970 has probably lost like 95% of its ability to buy something. Have you lost your fucking mind after the pandemic, after 2008, after BlackRock was founded in the 80s? It's just an absurd statement to make, to blame it on Netflix or Starbucks, when if you just look at the mathematical reality of how things cost now, essential things like houses, rent, cars, insurance. And this is the divide, is that things that are considered luxuries like TVs, phones, entertainment are actually cheap now, where things we need like insurance, rent, houses are very expensive. And so boomers can't clock it because in the 90s, 80s, a TV was very expensive, a computer was very expensive, a phone, when those dropped, they were expensive. And only rich people had them. Now, like, everybody has them, and they're cheap, and then they blame that when it's the things that you actually need that have increased by like 10x. Since the 70s, the cost of all these things has increased by over 10 times. Officially, it's probably about 9-10x. Don't believe the official inflation numbers. And the income hasn't increased by 10 times, not even close. So that whole thing is just so tired and ridiculous. Like, obviously you shouldn't be ordering DoorDash, but you can do the mathematical fucking calculations. This is what's ridiculous about these people. They're so insular, they can deny just a mathematical reality of the income to cost of living ratio, which has become very thin when in their time it was much, much bigger. And this is an objective mathematical fact that they just can't fucking clock it. Mom of Data Republican, oh boy. Maybe ditch the nose ring and start looking for a better job. I had 3 roommates and remember having $12 to last 2 weeks until payday. It's tough. It's just not remotely comparable mathematically from then to now. It's just not. It's unbelievable, these people. Now, I mean, the nose ring is annoying. But here's the thing. The reason people are like this, they're getting like this, is because they're fucked up in the head because of how you f*** them over, you old fuck. Here's the problem, lady. $1 isn't just $1. So your $12 that lasted 2 weeks, it lasted that long because the dollar was able to purchase more things because it was worth more. But it's constantly losing value. Conservative Christian U.S. Navy retired wife, grandmother to 4, like, oh man. Oh man. Oh boy. Here's the other problem. Gen Z are doom spending because their financial system to actually own anything becomes so nihilistic. And that's why people's mentality breaks and they get nose rings and shit. And why they can just spend money sometimes. And why would they save money? Why would they save money when it constantly loses value? You're not rewarded for saving money. Nearly half of Gen Z's adult members say planning for the future feels pointless. according to a recent Credit Karma poll. Like, I'm sure that lady, whoever, she's nice. She's just an old... It's just these people are insular because they can't see. And it's not the fault... It's not actually the fault of the boomers. It is just, like, central banking. But there is a real problem for the older people voting for, supporting things that actively harm young people, but are good for them. No baby boomers ever raised a family on minimum wage. Never, ever happened. I don't think that's even true. I think they did. If you would actually do the math, here's what I would put forward. I would bet money on this now. The minimum wage then, in terms of real purchasing power, if you were to factor it all in, might be worth close to 6 figures now, and what you're actually able to buy. I would bet money on that. A service job back then is like a very good job now. Also, didn't need to spend $100+ a month on a phone. A phone plan can be like $30-$40. They're very, very rarely close to $100. They just don't know what things cost. See, they think like luxuries cost way more. People are not spending more than $100 on a phone plan. Everything's just going to... All we needed was a pocket of dimes. Yes, that's because you could actually fucking buy something with a dime. We didn't have food delivered. We didn't buy designer coffee. Designer coffee? Oh my God. We didn't need a GPS because we knew how to read a 25-cent gas station paper map. That has nothing to do with the economy. Everybody needs a phone, and that's free. So there was no reason to bring that shit up. Mothers baked birthday cakes. Why is that possessive, retard? We didn't have multiple streaming subscriptions, of course. Yeah, you got to bring it up. I had like 7 channels on the TV. Doesn't mean anything. We wore hand-me-down clothes. People still do that. We would put people in the trunk of the car to sneak them. Now you're just like reminiscing. I fucking hate these people. I guess I do hate them. I guess I can't stop it. I hate them. Retired NYPD, 2nd grade detective. Chopper riding gym rat. Married to my childhood sweetheart. Oh my God, man. These people have everything and you had nothing. These people, I'm not going to keep reading these. Get on the poll is crazy. Yeah, Gen X isn't the same thing. I can't keep doing it. It's not like the ethic behind what they're saying, where you should learn to cook cheap meals and you shouldn't order DoorDash and you should look for good deals on a car on Craigslist. It's good to have roommates and work hard. All of this makes sense. It's just when they try to compare it like it is comparable, that's ridiculous. And also the specific advice they give is bad. The real advice now is that if you can live with your parents, live with some sort of relatives, you absolutely should. Don't just be a tough guy and try to move out for no reason. At least that's not a smart economic decision. That might be a good social decision, but you will be economically boned. It's just not smart to just go out and pay ridiculous rent. Don't be a leech on your parents. Have skills, get a job so you can save money, and then you might be able to stack up enough to get a down payment, invest, do something. But we're going to have to return to like multi-generational houses because everything else is just owned by private equity. And people say, well, once a lot of these boomers die off, there will be a correction in the market. Like the cars, the houses, the market will have to correct once all this money goes away or trickles down, right? But here's the black pill. It's like, there might be a little something like that, but it will never really happen because we live in a system where the money cannot do anything else but inflate. It must inflate forever, and that's because all of our governments are an immense amount of debt. There can never be a period of deflation. It has to constantly be more and more in circulation. That's the only way to keep the system going. So the dollar will never stop losing purchasing power. This kind of stuff can never keep up. And I mean, that's the real economic red pill you have to swallow. is that, yeah, there might be some little market corrections, but everything will infinitely go up because the money, every real thing will infinitely go up because the money is always losing value. And will the money really trickle down? Here's the other thing about the boomers. The first thing is that there are two types of boomers. Some of them aren't doing very good. Some of them were messed up a lot by 2008, by 2020. And they weren't, if they didn't just like if they didn't invest, buy, or hold on to a house for a long time, they could be in a pretty bad situation. There is a whole retirement crisis. People are going to inherit less and less. People are inheriting less and less from their parents. So it's not trickling down. And the boomers are spending it all, or, they have these young people who they can't take care of. They're not situated enough. They don't have their own families. They can't take care of their older parents. So they're in retirement homes. And retirement homes take all of your money away. My grandfather, I think he was a millionaire, but he didn't want to live with his kids anymore and their families. I don't know, something like this. They got put in a retirement home. My grandparents ended up living there for might be over a decade. It's very expensive. It's gone. The money's gone. It's gone. No more. This is what's going to happen. It all just gets siphoned up by, I don't know, Mr. Mickelstein. He's going to take all the money. He owns the retirement home. And what the fuck? It's not going to come down to you. I'm starting to think there has to be a market correction when nobody can buy these cars, when nobody can buy these houses. But when it comes to things like houses, these massive asset managers, these private equity firms, they can really just scoop it all up. When there is this dip that many young people will not be able to capitalize off of. And it's the whole, WEF, you will own nothing and be happy. It's all that jazz. And I think that's the plan. If I'm going to get a little conspiratorial, they have to make the market so bad that there's no justification for anything remotely free market anymore. A lot of boomers aren't doing so hot, and they are reliant on the Social Security. And the main difference is if they just invested or sat on something for a long time. And the thing is, I don't think that's like an ideal or virtuous separating factor between people who are happy and retiring and people who are still in the system and can't retire or are reliant on this stuff. Look, you should invest, you should do all that, but having to turn everybody into this speculator where they just buy all this shit and hold it, instead of just having an actual currency that holds value and you can save it. I just hate all this big finance shit. Well, you should have invested. You should have thrown it all into the market. Just go fuck yourself. We have an economic system which punishes the virtuous. That's what I think. And I don't know how the young people are going to take care of the older people. I don't know. Stuff could get crazy. But here's what I think, and you can take it or leave it. You can't be nihilistic about things anymore. Things happen for a reason. There's a reason you're born in a specific time, in a specific place, in a specific generation. It's not a mistake. You are here for a reason. There are moves to make. There's a whole world out there. There's a timeline in this life where you are successful and things work great. You can give up. I don't really care. But things can catch up to you where you're forced to do things to meet your basic levels of survival. And you'll be unhappy that you didn't lock in sooner. Because things aren't too bad now. And you can lock in, make things happen. The worst ending is where nothing ever happens. These trends keep continuing. Things keep getting worse because people are comfortable giving up now when you can shape your reality. We can change things for the better. Take risks, make moves. It's not actually a bad time to be alive. And never do. What you think matters more than you would believe. But don't listen to a lot of boomer advice or get gaslit by them. They don't really know what they're talking about. And hopefully when a lot of them pass away, there will be some sort of recorrection where some people, if you have positioned yourself properly, can make it out the hood, proverbially speaking. I am black.